Welcome back to another episode of the Modern Woodcarver Podcast. I'm your host, Michael, and today I'm joined by Pedro Rodriguez from all the way across the world in Australia. Pedro's work is fantastic. He does a wide variety of things, and I'm just really excited to have him on the show today and talk about what he does and his style. So, Pedro, thank you for joining me today. I'm glad to have you here.
Thank you, Michael. No, I really do appreciate it. It's yeah, it's nice having a chat with you guys on the other side of the world. So it's quite
Yeah,
enjoyable from my end.
Yeah, same here. It's not a common thing that you get to talk to someone um, in a vastly different time zone than your own.
Yeah,
Yeah,
10:30 at
for
night here at the
the
moment. So
for the people who don't know, it's 8 a.m. here and 10 p.m. over there at the time of
which
recording.
works out well
So
for me, as I was saying. I'm a bit of a night owl, so I don't mind the
yeah,
late nights. So
yeah, yeah. It's funny because I mostly record these at night and
okay,
not so much in the morning.
yeah, there you
But
go.
it works out. So yeah, I'm kind of curious just how you got started in carving to begin with.
Yeah, I started would be not that long ago. I'd say probably about 3 years ago now. 2.5, 3 years ago. I stumbled across a whittling knife that used to be my dad's, and didn't really know actually what whittling even was. I actually did a Google search of the knife because I wanted to sort of find out a little bit about it, and it came up with whittling knife, and then I googled what whittling was, and then it was like a rabbit hole that I'm still in right now
Yeah.
about whittling and carving and so on. So it was good, and then it was just around Christmas, and I wanted to sort of carve something, and I typed in whittling, and one of the first things that came up was a Santa tutorial on how to carve a Santa face, which I still have, and it's really good to look at, your very first carving that you do, and as you progress, and how they get sort of hopefully a little bit better and better each time. So yeah, no, I started, did a little carving, and it came up really good. And then I joined a Facebook page and I put sort of a photo of it, and I got a lot of good feedback. I was like, "Hey, this is my first little whittle. Um, it's nice to do." And people, you got a lot of good feedback. So I think from that, I was like, "Oh, I'll try and do another one, see if I can do a little bit better." And then I stumbled across another video from Blake, who he did a tutorial on how to do a sand, and he used gouges, and sort of introduced me a little bit more to carving with actual hand tools and gouges and so on, not just sort of a whittling knife. So I did that one, and that got like amazing sort of feedback and reviews, and I was just hooked. It was just like a loop where you sort of you're creating something, you're putting it out there in the world, and you're getting sort of good feedback, and an encouragement. And probably at the time, I think I was probably, I was doing other things that weren't really productive,
Mhm.
and I just found carving and whittling was like a really nice avenue just to relax and really get hyper focused in and be able to start a little project, get a dopamine hit by the time you're sort of finishing it and as you're doing it. And it was, yeah, I don't think, like, I think probably in the last, well, close to 2.5 odd years, 3 years that I've sort of been carving, the, I barely would have had a couple of weeks off from carving if you were to put all the time together. I carve just about every single day. And it's good. It's something I can see myself doing as long as my body holds up. Yeah, it's really, really enjoyable. So that's sort of how my sort of carving kind of started. It was just found a knife, did a little whittle, quite enjoyed it. Then I did a second one, enjoyed that, and then it was just nonstop. Would be watching TV in the lounge room, and I'd set myself up with a little towel, and I'd be whittling whilst we're watching the show. And I wasn't really even watching the show that much. I was sort of more concentrating on what I was doing. And then sort of I started doing larger and larger projects, and I couldn't really do them in the lounge room anymore. So I had to sort of create a little bit of a space in the workshop, which now I'd say over 50% of the workshop is dedicated to carving. It just keeps growing and growing. So I've got like a hand area, which is sort of two gouges in here, and then I've got a painting area just on the other side. And out the back, I've created a big sort of uh, shelter area where I can do sort of chainsaw carving, and it's quite messy and dirty out there. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's really, really enjoyable for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think all of us can relate with that. It's an enjoyable, rewarding hobby and
It certainly
craft.
is.
What I find amazing is you said you've only started about 3 years ago, and I mean, you've come leaps and bounds with your skill level. I mean, your
Thank you.
work is really great, especially considering knowing the fact that it's only a few years into the
Yeah.
craft. Um, and you really expanded too. You didn't just stick to whittling with you know, a knife. You went full blown gouges and bigger sculptures and chainsaw, which is one of those things that a lot of carvers want to try. They just don't have the means to do it. I don't have the means to
Yeah.
break out a chainsaw and carve, but so that's how did you kind of go from, whittling with a small knife and a block to the bigger bark carvings and the chainsaw?
How it sort of progressed was I was doing a lot of whittling and sort of carvings, just very small type little projects. And at the time, or still now, I have a little company, and we do some work at some of the mines here in Australia, and we sort of set up temporary workshops. And um, so the team and I were doing a job up sort of north of Australia in Queensland, and we there was a storm came through, and luckily I had a little pencil case carving set that I'd take with me. Um, so I was sort of every night I was sort of be able to do a couple little whittles sort of in our sort of dorm bunker type area, and it was good. So I'd sort of did a little couple little videos, and I noticed that the table that I had a little shelf just above it, and I could literally just place my phone on top, and it was able to record sort of me whittling. So then I started doing a couple of videos whilst I was doing a little carving, and I did one of a lady's face. I think it might have been the first or the second lady that I tried to do, and she was more like just a restful type face. She was sort of had her eyes closed. I might have done like a little band with some flowers, I think, by memory. I think I've still got it around here somewhere. And I put that on the internet, and a priest came across it. So he at the same time was looking for a carver to do a life size crucifixion of Jesus.
Hmm.
And I had never done anything like the biggest carving I had done was probably a foot big. Like it was 12 inches at the most. And he just said, I've come across, I saw that this lady that you did, and she looks like, yeah, just the expression that you've put on her face. I think you'd be good to do it. And I was like, oh, I couldn't believe it. I sort of,
Yeah.
it took, I didn't say yes straight away. I thought, oh, let me think about it and I'll come back to you. And I said to him, are you sure? I've never done anything this size. And he just said, no, no, I believe that you can do it. Um, Something led me to you, and I believe that you can do it. And
Wow.
that just threw me into a massive rabbit hole of learning even more about carving and different sculptures, going back through history, looking at other crucifixions that had been done. And that was so he wanted it life size. So that was like a big carving. And it took me, I came up with some ideas, got some photos. I was able to go and get them printed. So then all the drawings I could get printed, had a couple of copies. And then from there, I could sort of scale to what I wanted done. And then sort of Googled and worked out the best type of timber to use. I have my background was a carpenter originally, so I did a trade as a carpenter. So I kind of worked with when I've built furniture in the past, and I kind of enjoyed doing that. So that sort of led. I sort of had a little bit of a basic understanding on timber,
Mhm.
um, grain direction. That I kind of already. I think I wasn't as green as some other carvers, I guess, that have worked. Maybe with
Yeah,
computers.
the knowledge was there.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
basics. And so yeah, so I just sort of put together a, a crucifixion, and it was just a bit of trial and error. But I got to the point where I sort of had just from and, and at this stage I was probably only 6 months into my carving journey, so I was very green. And I said to him, "Look, I'm not gonna. You pay me at the end," because he's like, "No, we'll pay you for it." And I'm like, "No, no, no. I'm happy to make this. You at the end, if you're happy with it, you can pay me then. But if not,
Yeah.
it's more. I'm really grateful for the experience." And he was really good support, and he just let me do my thing. I came and I met him on site with the drawings, and this is the idea that I've got. He just said, "Yeah, go for it." So then it took me all up from the time that I met him to the time I actually installed it in the church was about 12 months. So it did
Okay.
take a while. At one stage, I remember going I was probably 7 or 8 months into it, and I was just questioning, like, I've invested so much time in this, and this is looking terrible. And I kind of worked
Yeah.
out that nearly all carvings go through a stage where it's sort of after your rough block out, and when you're just starting to put some details in and things are off a little bit, it
Yeah.
just whether some people call it like the ugly stage.
Mhm.
I felt like it was stuck there for a long time, and it yeah, I almost wanted to quit and just throw the whole thing in, but I don't know whether it was my ego or whether it was just the fact that I don't know. I've been through tough things in the past, and you just got to push through it. Um, and I kind of knew, like, if I just keep pushing through this, I know I'll get to I've made little carvings where I've gotten to this little stage before, and I'll probably one of the biggest projects I did was actually I built my own house.
Oh,
So
cool.
we bought a block of land. It was a big bush block. Here, as you call it in Australia, there's trees everywhere, all full of gum trees, and we designed the house, put it through the council, got the permits for it, and yeah, I pretty much built it weekends and after hours. I'd finish work and I'd come here and I'd work till 10, 11 o'clock at night, have a quick shower, uh, go to bed, and go to work, and then literally from work, I'd come straight here, and I was working here till and then weekends I was here every weekend. So I've done the tough yards, I've done the hours, and I just knew that I just had to keep sticking it through. And at the end, I I kind of even surprised myself what I was able to do. It come up really good. And I paid so much attention to um, even getting like the veins to show, and just the sort of the creases in the hand. Um, it's probably why it took me so long, because I probably paid so much attention to all the little details. But when it all came together at the end, it was really good. It was probably one of the it's up there with it's. I think it's nice to accomplish things in life, and then you can look back on and think like, yeah, that was hard, but it come
Yeah.
up pretty good. So it just builds you to your
Yeah.
next sort of big task. But that's sort of how I went from whittling to then the larger projects. And then so after I had done the crucifixion, I had a couple other small little commission jobs where people be like, "Oh, can you carve me a bird, or can you carve me something small?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then I did a couple of shows where I did live carving, and then sort of got a few more orders, and that's sort of where I started sort of thinking about getting into chainsaw carving, because it was just such a quick yeah, you could sort of produce something a lot quicker than with gouges and by hand. And the amount of logs we have here in Australia, especially just in my own backyard, I could sort of, I could make a lot of things. So that was good, and that's sort of how it led from using a little knife and a couple little small little gouges to investing into some bigger tools, um, and doing some
Yeah,
larger
because
work.
you have a pretty nice collection behind you of gouges
Yeah,
and tools. I
it's
mean, that's
yeah.
that's something
There's a
you
few
gotta
there.
acquire.
Most of them I've gotten through garage sales or like through marketplace on the internet, and there's a
Yeah.
lot of them. Some of them are quite old. Some of them are probably 200 years old, 150 years old, that
Oh,
people
wow.
have brought over from England. Because you look at the steel, and I've sort of been able to work out some of the Sheffield steel and some of the
Yeah.
yeah, some of them are quite old. Others I've found a lot that were just a bit cheap. I got a lot of files are pretty good.
Yeah, I
Um,
have file as well.
but yeah, even flex cuts are good. There's yeah, I got a eclectic there collection. There's all
Yeah, I
different
think
bits and pieces, and
all of
some I've
us
just
do.
end up making my own. I don't mind trying to make my own sort of knives or gouges. It's nice
Oh,
trying to make
cool.
your own tools. Um,
I gotta
but yeah,
I
no,
gotta do that
mm,
because there's a couple of times I need like a specific tool for an application. Maybe it's like a one-time thing, and I'm just
yeah,
like, I wish I had this type of tool for it. But I don't have like a set of like bang around chisels that I'm willing to destroy to make the tool. Because
yeah,
I have like nicer tools, not a ton of them, but I have a few, and I don't want to alter that.
no,
So I think if I ended up at like a garage sale and I bought like a batch of 30 of them for $5, I wouldn't care. But
yeah.
yeah, no, that's
I've made
really
a few of
cool.
my gouges from chisels, like an actual just a flat, like a number one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I started with a one, and then with the sort of whetstone, I was able to sort of get the profile. Um,
Hmm.
look, you're not going to make an 11, like you're not going to make a or a nine.
Yeah.
That's pretty difficult. Maximum you're probably going to get is like a five. Most of mine that I've made are probably a three, which is nice. It's nice to have a good. I sometimes could probably do 80 or 90% of the carving with a three.
Hmm.
Like it's a good, yeah. I'm just looking like I can rough out with it and get pretty close. You're obviously not going to do really close detail, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's
It's funny because I've never been one to pay attention to the numbers of the sweep and the number three,
no,
number nine. To me, I don't care because I know it's helpful in certain applications to understand and know, but I I've never had a complete set of gouges or chisels. I've always had like one random gouge here, a V tool there, and so I'd watch these videos of people say, "Oh, grab your number nine," and
yeah,
I don't have a number nine.
yeah,
So like it does. I just over the years I've just glossed over it and just never cared about the numbers, and I
yeah,
just used whatever was closest that I had in my hand, which I think is a good way to go. Use what you have. Really
absolutely.
doesn't matter what number you're using. I think it
No.
helps to have a certain gauge, doing certain things, but you can get around that.
You can the same you could do
Yeah.
with a nine, you could do it with a five. Really, just it'll
Yeah.
take a couple more passes, then you got to turn and sort
Exactly.
of curve it a little bit as you're doing it, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's why probably it's funny, I've got quite a few just because I've managed to come across quite a few of them at, you know, peanuts. So most of them are pretty rusted, so I've had to drop them in vinegar at first and to try and get most of the rust
Yeah.
off and
Steel wool and
grind
all
them
that.
back. So I spent quite a bit of time bringing them up to scratch, and it's true, there's probably maybe 5 that I could do a whole carving with, and I seem to always just go for those, like, 5.
Yeah, you
Um,
stick with the same 2 or 3 and that's it.
correct. Yeah.
Until you need like that one big one and you're like, "Oh, okay, here, I'm glad I have it."
Yeah, yeah.
And
But yeah,
yeah.
no, you're right.
So
You don't
I'm
need
also
them.
curious, you guys I don't know much about the wood that you have over there. I know there's like Tasmanian oak and
Yeah.
gum trees and all that. Are any of those like suitable for whittling? I mean, are they hard? Do you guys use
No,
basswood?
there's one particular type of timber that you can get, and I don't even think it's Australian. I think it might come from one of the Asian countries, I think. It's called gelatin. I don't
Yeah,
know which.
yeah. I don't know how it's pronounced, but
Yeah,
gelatin or
some people
something.
call it jelly.
Yeah, I've
It
seen who uses that? There's a that YouTube carver Didalo uses that a lot.
oh,
I don't
yeah.
know if you've seen his. Yeah,
Is that what he uses?
uh,
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
I can show you a little piece, and it's hard to see the growth rings on it. It's just
Hmm.
it's very good. I do have some basswood that I've ordered, like, I know, like,
Is it
even
is it
sorry?
comparable to basswood?
To me, I think it's a little bit easier to carve. Other people don't agree, but I just find
Hmm.
it's very, very uniform. You can tell that there's grain going up or down, but as in, like, if you were trying to carve how can I explain it? Like a cypress, not even cypress. If you were to try and carve like a type of pine that has, and you can see those growth rings, you notice that the dark growth rings would be quite hard to carve, and then all of a sudden you get through that, and then the next section, which is the spring or the summer growth, which grows quite fast, is a lot softer, and you get and then you get to the winter part, which is the ring, the dark part, and it's really hard. So if you're trying to, unless your tools are super super sharp, you end up getting tears out, and yeah, it's pretty hard. That's why this gelatin is, um, yeah, it's easy to carve. It's very easy to carve.
Yeah.
You'd almost compare
I
it
mean,
to a
because
bark, like bark carving, where
so
I
bark
noticed you.
carving is it's very brittle.
It is,
It's
but
very
as in
different.
it's
It's a
uniform,
different type of soft.
different type of soft.
Yeah, but
Um,
basswood is pretty uniform, I would say.
maybe
Um,
some of the things, maybe I ordered some stuff
I
from
don't know where you're getting your basswood from though.
yeah,
I could
Amazon
be
and Beavercraft. I think it was.
okay.
There's a couple of places that I got. You can definitely
Okay,
tell the growth. You can see the growth rings on it. It might not even be that.
because I mean, this is all basswood behind me. I
Yeah.
mean, this block is my daughter drew all over it. But the growth rings on it are, you know, can't really tell, but they're tight.
Very. Yeah.
They're very tight, very uniform, very straight. I mean, it's very light and soft. And
Yeah.
occasionally, I'm working on this bear carving out of a big block.
Nice.
This thing is like a piece of iron, and it's basswood. It's
Yeah.
so hard, and it's driving me nuts. But this block is, I can look at it and it carves. It's so weird.
Yeah. That is true. Some of the basswood that I've gotten, and what I've only been able to order has been sort of like a 1x1x4 or by 3
Yes, yeah.
type sort of little blocks. So you're kind of limited to what you can do with them. And I have found some of them being quite soft, and others are very hard,
Hmm.
very, very hard. Um,
Yeah.
but I guess, yeah,
I've
in
I've
Australia,
I've heard it depends where the tree grows.
yeah,
I've always heard that at least here in North America, I've heard that the trees that grow down south are softer to carve than the trees that grow up north. I've also heard the opposite. So
okay,
I don't know which is correct. But I heard that due to the harsher winters in the north, we get cold, brutal winters. The trees, I guess, they're more rigid or more
mm,
resilient because they have to embrace that cold in the
yeah.
winter, whereas the trees in the south don't. So that's why they're softer down south. I don't know. I could be making that up, but it's just things I've
No, it
heard
sounds.
over
Is
the
it windy up?
years.
Is it windy up
So that
north, and would it be down south?
windy?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it can be.
because you've heard the old expression that, what is it? A strong tree grows in windy conditions.
Yeah,
Um, so it's
that makes
yeah,
sense.
it
It's got to
be
be more resilient.
something like
Yeah, I
that.
mean, we get snow up here, and I mean,
Okay.
especially if you go further up north, like Canada. I mean, it's freezing up there,
Yeah.
you know, most of the year. So those trees have to be really intensely strong
I was
to
talking
deal
to
with
an
those
Aussie
harsh winters.
carver who's he's probably I think he's probably one of the he's definitely one of the best carvers that there is, especially chainsaw carvers. He's won quite a few competitions. He's currently, I think, this week he's heading up to Canada for a carving competition, and yeah, I wish him luck. But
Yeah.
yeah, I did. One of the things I was looking at was the weather there, because I was thinking actually about going there myself just to watch. I think it'd be amazing experience, even just watching, because I think they're getting, I know, 20 of the world's best chainsaw carvers in one competition, and all of them
Hmm.
have won previously. So it'd be, yeah. I think if you could be in
It's
that
got to be
area,
some good work.
I think so. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to see what they produce. So
Oh, that's really cool.
it'll be nice to see.
Now, can you carve that gum tree? I guess only
Yeah,
chainsaw.
you can. You do use chainsaws and so on, and I have done a couple of things with sort of um, like eucalyptus, like gum. There's different types. We get some of the gums are a little bit softer than some of the others, but if they're not dried properly, they tend to crack. Um, and then when they go hard, they're like really hard. Like I tried carving some spotted gum, and the problem is that even when if you try and do any power sanding, or if any of the tools you're using are not super sharp, it burns. And
Hmm.
you can turn down the revs, you can try a whole bunch of different things. It becomes, yeah, too hard. There's a couple of there's a particular tree which is actually an invasive species called camphor laurel, which grows in the sort of state that I'm in. You can get that sort of. I think I've done a few carvings out of that, and it's really nice. It's beautiful. Just trying to see. I've got like a block, and the grain on that is amazing. Just you can get these really yellow, red, brown colors all within the one. Um, so yeah, within the one log. So you can get some really, really nice things out of that. Pine's obviously good if you can get your hands on, but it's different types of pines. I think it's cypress pine is no good because you've got these huge growth rings between the sort of summer and winter. But then you get other pines like a white pine. I think you get white pine
Hmm.
up there. That's really nice to carve. It's quite nice.
I I've seen so I mean maybe I'm wrong, but we have like Doug fir up here, pine,
Yeah,
which is mostly used for building materials, two by fours and structural
yeah,
things. But you can also get other types of pine where I've noticed the growth rings are much tighter.
yeah,
But the two by fours, they have these massive because I believe they plant them and they pump them full of hormones to grow them
yeah,
quicker to yield material. A
yeah.
lot of knots in them though. There's a
Yeah,
lot of
we get some of
knots
that as
in
well here.
pine. Yeah.
But yeah, probably the nicest sort of timber lately that I've been carving, especially with the chainsaw and so on, things like camphor laurel was really nice. I did a horse head recently out of swamp mahogany, which I think it's not actual mahogany. I think it's actually a type of gum, but
Sapele.
it's beautiful. Absolutely, it's a really nice timber to carve, and I've had some yeah, quite a few logs, and none of them have checked or cracked. It's yeah, it's
Interesting.
nice timber, but heavy.
Yeah, a lot of people now they call it mahogany, but they're really getting sapele. It's a type of
Right.
I don't know if it's a cousin or something within that genus of tree,
Yeah.
but it is different. It's not as mahogany has that really rich red color.
Hmm.
It's hard to come by. I mean, a
Yeah.
mahogany tree to fully mature, I think takes 200 years
Yeah.
to
Wow.
fully grow. Um, and the sapele tree, I mean, obviously, I guess can mature much quicker, but it's a much paler color.
Yeah.
I have a block here, actually, a couple blocks right here. Still hard. It's nice wood.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
no, this
I've
is
got I was
cherry.
just looking up,
This is
I've got a
cherry,
block as
but
well of
yeah.
mahogany up here as well. It's not cheap. Like, we pay like, I've got a little sort of, I was about to call it in mils, 4-inch by 4-inch by 12-inch block, and that's,
Mm-hmm.
I can see the price on that, it's $33 Australian. So I think
Okay.
it'd be, I don't know, I think you're like 65 cents Australian to $1, so you can sort of do the
No
maths there.
idea. Yeah.
It's not cheap for a tiny little bit of, yeah, sort of
Yeah.
timber like that. Um, but it's really nice. It's really nice wood though. Um,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you can get your hands on it,
yeah,
why not? I've carved some stuff out of mahogany or sapele, whatever it is, but and they always come out really, really nice.
yeah,
Um, now, that's a lot of Australia questions,
yeah,
but so I've spoken to a number of UK carvers,
yeah.
and they told me that there's not much of like a carving presence like there is here in the US. Is that also the case where you are?
It's even less here. So
It's less.
yeah, so if you think, if
Because
you
I
sort
know
of,
you guys are big in woodworking. There's a ton of
yeah, definitely
Australian woodworkers,
woodworking.
furniture
Yeah.
makers. Matt Estella is, I believe, is one of the big named YouTube woodworkers.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
I'm sure I butchered his name, but yeah.
Yeah. I think here in Australia, and I was talking to someone about it recently, w- because of, and this goes back to the sort of trees. We don't have, like, the trees that we do have here have interlocking grain. Like all of these gum trees, they're ironbark, spotted gum. All of these type of trees are absolutely beautiful to work with. To do a nice fat flat slab, to do some a box, do carpentry, cabinetry work. You can get some beautiful things. But when it starts, if you want to start doing a bit of carving, it unless you want to do power carving, and even then, you kind of, it's not that easy because, as I was
Hmm.
saying to you before, you tackle it the wrong angle, or if your bit spinning the wrong way, all of a sudden it'll burn, and it becomes frustrating. So that's, I think, one reason that there probably isn't as many carvers here would be probably just the fact that our trees, our natural resources, isn't as readily available as what it is probably in the US. So I think
That
that's
makes
probably
sense.
one,
Yeah.
and I think also where we've got a culture of going to work. It's what, we do go out and party and so on, but I don't think it's ingrained in our culture. Versus when I look at a lot of the things from the US, especially when it comes to carving, uh, I hear a lot of people like, "Oh, my great grandfather used to carve," and it's sort of come down the generations, or even just the classic gentleman sitting on his porch in his rocking chair, whistling. It just probably doesn't seem to happen here because I guess Australia's only, what, 200 odd years old, so it's not that old. So we probably haven't had a chance to really get into it as much. So that's that. I guess, yeah, that's probably the two main reasons. I guess we just, one's probably time, and the other one is the actual wood itself. Like, it's
Yeah.
probably not as easy to get into it, which is nice.
Interesting.
I try and spread the word, and hopefully we get more carvers come on board. I got a message recently from a guy that just started, and he's like, "Oh, I've seen your work," and asked for a couple of tips, and it's nice to see people getting into it. Some of the shows that I've been, and when they see me carving, I turn around. There's probably 30, 40 people watching me carve, and it brings in a crowd more because not
Yeah,
because of the work I'm doing, more because they're like, oh wow,
they don't see it. Yeah,
they've never seen it before, so it's interesting to them, which is
that is
good.
kind of interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I'm
Um,
not sure why that is here versus over there, but it does make sense with the natural resources. And I mean here I mean here is nuts. Everyone works. It's you need 3 jobs just to live these days.
yeah,
But yeah, I guess, and I think that's why maybe so many people kind of flock to not just carving, but any other hobby. They're just trying to escape their monotony of day-to-day
mm,
life. So I think that's why there's so much emphasis on finding something they love and just doing it every day, just to find some sense of relief or happiness or whatever in their hectic lives. And so I
yeah,
think that's maybe why there's so much more. It could also be a population thing. I'm not sure
could
what
be,
the population's like, just sheer numbers.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
it'd be nice if more people carved. Um,
yeah. I mean,
but
like I said, I've said it before. There's no one in my area that carves, at
oh
least
wow,
that I know of. I mean, I've
yeah,
heard of a few people in other neighborhoods and stuff, but no one close by enough that I could walk over and hang out with.
no, and yeah.
Um, yeah.
I get what we do get here lately. What seems to be growing is spoon carving.
Okay.
So it's a
Yeah.
start. Learning about
So I recorded an episode in one of the past episodes with Bob Tinsley. He's a spoon carver.
yeah,
He predominantly carves romantic love spoons, Welsh love spoons, and um that sort of Scandinavian
yeah,
love spoons. Yeah, so he's a big advocate for spoon carving,
yeah,
and what a very unique history
yeah.
that I didn't think
Yeah,
about in spoons.
I think carving is just one of those things. You start with a raw bit of material, a block, one by one, or a bit of bark, and you can actually have something half decent within a few hours.
Hmm.
You could actually even do a whittle. You could do a little spirit face in 15 minutes. So you can get a bit of just about a year or so ago, because we go to different sort of mine sites at lunchtime. So you could, we're having sort of lunch, and I'd sort of eat real quick, and then I might get out the knife and quickly do a quick little whittle, and people are like, "Oh, that's cool." And I'll be like, "Oh, yeah." And just as I'm chatting to him, I'm sort of making the whittle, and by the end of it, I'm like, "Yeah, you can have it." And they're like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, this is
Yeah.
a good luck wood spirit." So it was good
Oh,
because I
that's
could do
cool.
like a whip up a wood spirit in like about 15 minutes. So nearly every lunchtime, I was sort of making and it's nice because it gives you something. It's a conversation starter. You have something to give, and I'm a big believer in trying to give back, whether it's back to the community or just to sort of give back in general. It comes around if you're.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just one of those. It's actually like another philosophy that I kind of have with my carvings. As soon as I sold, which pretty much the first commission carving that I got was that crucifix. And then after that, there was like a bird. And then I did a show and I had a couple of things already made and they sold. You, I feel like I owe it to the people that have invested in me at the beginning and even to today. Like a lady, I sold a little fox I did just recently. And they're buying the art that you've made, because they enjoy it. But I feel that you owe it to them to continue to do better, to try and enter competitions and win awards, and
Hmm.
it, it almost to confirm that what they purchase from you. As you said, some people need 2 jobs to survive at the moment. It's not cheap, and when someone puts together the hard-earned money to buy your art, it it to me, it means a lot. And I just
Yeah.
find that as soon as someone buys something, it just reminds me that the next one, it's got to be a little bit better. Not because I want to make something better than what that person has, but more because I want to sort of get better to the point that one day my art hopefully is quite valuable. And all the people that invested in me when probably my art, I look at some of the carvings I did a year ago and I look at now and I think, oh, I've improved. Imagine
Yeah.
where I'll be in a couple of years from now, in 10, 20 years. So I feel like I owe them something. Like they've invested in me. They've been able to put the hard earned money into something that I created. And I owe it back to them to do better and continue and just to produce better and better things. Like I entered a
That
competition
makes
recently,
sense.
and I got an award. It was like best in show, and I got first place. And I did like a little Facebook sort of story on it, and someone that had bought something from me like a year ago sent me a message saying, "See, I told you so. I knew that you'd win the competition one day." um,
Yeah.
that was always probably because there's not that many carvers here in Australia. I'm sure if I would have
Yeah.
entered it in America, I wouldn't have won, or Europe. But um, yeah, it was nice. Obviously, nice to win something, and even nicer to be recognised, for your work. So it's yeah,
Yeah, that's
I
really
just
cool.
I find like I got to keep getting better, keep doing better, not for myself to learn, but just for the people that have invested at the very beginning when I first started, when I wasn't sure whether this is even something I could do. I wanted to do
Yeah.
it, but whether I could is something different. So yeah, it's a bit of a philosophy I've got it lately. I seem to,
Yeah, that's a good driving force to have.
and the more that people
Keep
buy, the
you
more I feel like there's more people that I
Yeah,
owe
you
it
owe it
to.
to them.
So yeah, that's good. I enjoy it.
Oh, very cool. Yeah. And this is the last Australia question, I promise.
Ah, shit, shit.
But
Kangaroos,
um
koalas. Is it a question about them?
hey, I like wallabies.
Oh yeah,
I heard interesting fact, but in New York, it is legal to own a wallaby.
yeah.
I did not know that until recently, and apparently they're of the same temperament as dogs.
Well, there you go. We have some in our
Yeah,
backyard.
do
If I were
you?
to take the camera
Yeah.
now, I would at this time of the night, I'm sure they're there because our backyard sort of faces like a or borders onto a national park, and
Okay.
we have because of the national park, it's quite dense bush, and we've got a bit of grass. They come every night and they eat our grass, which is
They
great.
eat your
So
grass.
I don't
Yeah,
have
you
to.
don't have
I
to
don't
mow
have
the
to.
lawn.
I don't have to mow it nowhere near as much as I normally should.
Do you get the kangaroos too? The big
No, we
the
don't
red
get
ones?
kangaroos here. I know the big red
Yeah.
ones, but we get a lot of wallabies. A lot of wallabies.
Oh, okay. Are they
Foxes.
aggressive?
No, not at all. They're quite
No,
timid. They
they
see you, they jump
oh,
away.
they
Uh,
run away. Wow.
yeah,
You
or
gotta
hop
send me
away.
a picture.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah,
I will definitely.
that's cool.
Just yesterday, day before yesterday, sorry, we had two foxes in our backyard, and they were really cool to watch. So I got the family, got
Yeah.
he's like, quick, have a look, and you could just see them jumping, on top of one another, wrestling, and then all of a sudden they stop when they hear a noise. They sit down for a second and they get back to it, and then they're chasing a
Yeah.
bird. It was just, yeah, it was good to see. I'm very grateful for where I live. We get nature's
That's
literally in
really
our
cool.
backyard, so it's
That
yeah.
is really, really cool. Interesting. But
Sorry,
yeah,
your question about
what I
Australia.
was well, yeah,
I cut
what
you.
I was gonna ask is, um, does any of the Aboriginal art influence your work in some way? Or
Um,
is there an Aboriginal aspect to carving? Because I know they
the
paint,
yeah,
and they have a very unique style.
they do.
But
You're right.
I don't think I've seen much carving. And again, maybe it's because, like you said, the trees and the resources.
There is a bit of Aboriginal carvings. They would carve. I think most of the things that they carve are more functional, whether it's a
Okay.
didgeridoo or a spear or whatever. They do have a bit of art, um, but it's. I I feel because my background, you can tell by my name, is Spanish.
Hmm.
So I'd it's a weird, yeah. I wouldn't want to disrespect in any way. So I wouldn't want to try and do any. I have seen some of the work, and some of it's really cool, and I'd love to be able to, but I just don't know whether if I were to do any of that work, not being Aboriginal, would I be crossing the line? And it's a fine line, especially here in Australia. I don't know whether maybe I'm looking into it a bit
Oh,
too
okay.
much. Um,
Yeah. I
but
never would have thought of that.
I think it's
Um,
more of a traditional thing for them where it comes down generation to generation and it gets taught by elders. And unless an elder wanted to
gotcha.
teach me, I put my hand up. I'm all for learning. But
Huh.
unless that opportunity were to come, I don't feel I've got the right to. I don't know. Maybe I'm just looking at it a bit too deeply. Maybe they're probably
I
thinking
mean,
carve away.
like, what do we care? Yeah.
But
That is interesting. I never would have thought about that because we carve Native American
yes,
stuff
I have
all the
carved
time. Native
Native
Amer
American. Uh,
and I mean, I would never think twice about am I insulting them in
yeah,
some way. I never would have thought of that for some reason. But it does make sense. I mean, I could see that.
yeah.
I don't know if the Native Americans like that we carve a cigar store Indian or something.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a
Oh,
but
yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. And I guess because I don't have the answer and I haven't had the opportunity to find out, it's probably why I haven't. But the moment that I do have that opportunity, I'll definitely be
yeah,
asking whether that's what their thoughts are.
because
Um,
because I view it more as an homage to them,
yeah.
like that you like their art style enough to want to emulate it and
Yes.
try it yourself. I wouldn't see it as an insulting thing, but you never know. I guess they could take it as you know,
I wanted to do a carving once of. So there was a competition that was about. I'd never actually end up entering it, but there was a competition, and I asked some older carvers here in Australia because I'm part of a carving group, mainly older gentlemen. They've been carving for a long time, and they do it more as a hobby. None of them sell their work or anything. It's more of a hobby, but they've been in the industry for a long, long time, so they know carving very well, and I had this sort of idea of doing like a relief type carving, and I wanted to do one of a scene where an Aboriginal. It was sort of like when the ships first came over to Australia, an Aboriginal sort of standing, sort of at a shoreline, half sort of, and I wanted them to sort of be part of a sort of half of a sort of like sitting behind a tree, looking at these boats coming. And I explained that idea to these older gentlemen, and they're like, "Ooh, I wouldn't,
yeah,
I wouldn't." And I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, fair enough."
interesting.
So
Okay. Yeah,
it,
so maybe there's more to it over there
maybe,
than
maybe,
um
um,
yeah, because like I said, I don't know the ins and outs of Australia like you would, but I just my extent of Australia is the kangaroos, the wallabies, Crocodile Dundee,
yeah.
and Bluey. And Bluey. That's it. Yeah.
It's a very good
Yeah.
cartoon. Yeah,
I
very
mean,
popular.
any of the viewers that have kids definitely know who Bluey is, what
Yes,
Bluey is.
yeah.
It's one of the best I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it's one of the best shows ever created.
They it's
Yeah.
you watch that show, especially having kids, and it's very relatable. And I think the good thing about the
It's
show is when you watch it, your kids laughing at one particular scene, but
yeah,
you're
but
then
you're
laughing at
crying
the
at the
same scene
same
from a
scene.
different angle. You might be seeing it
Yeah.
from, I think it's a bandit or from the male,
Yeah.
from the dad's sort of perspective.
The
So no,
dad.
it's good.
Hmm.
It's there's actually a scene in there where I think it's I can't remember this the uncle or the granddad, one of them, whittles. It's one of his. So he is into whittling. I know because I was
Is he? Okay.
part of
I
my.
gotta,
It, well, if I'll find the episode and I'll send it to you. But yeah, I
yeah,
found it going down my rabbit hole one day.
because I've watched pretty much the entire show
It's
with
a
my
very
daughter,
small
and
scene and it's it's pretty quick. Um,
yeah, I mean, a lot of times, like, I mean, they're short episodes, 8, 9 minutes long.
yeah,
So you walk away for 30 seconds, you miss
that's right.
half an episode, pretty much.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, but no, great show.
it is. Yeah, no, I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah. So I see you also carve bark. Car, I see there's one in
Yes,
the back. Is that cottonwood bark or is it
it is.
birch bark?
Yep. No,
It's
cottonwood
cottonwood.
bark. So
So,
I
w-
originally got a couple of samples sent over from a friend in the States. They actually sent me two. One of them didn't come through. It got caught in customs. But
oh,
the second batch managed, and it was awesome to carve. It was really, really good. And then I sort of stumbled across a. We were actually having lunch at a park a few hours from where I'm living, and I looked on the ground, and man, this looks like bark to me. And I sort of looked at these trees, and I looked at one particular tree, and I could tell 100% that that was bark. The tree was already dead and half of it was on the ground. And I took a couple of photos and I sort of sent it to a couple of people and I'm like, hey, is this bark? And they're like, yeah, it's bark. So I brought some home, carved it,
hmm.
and sure enough, it was bark. And I think the following weekend or the following week, it was quite close. I got the trailer and the car, and then I sort of drove back there to that park, and I pretty much cleaned it out. I grabbed as much as I absolutely could. I
Oh,
think I
that's
ended up doing
awesome.
2 trips, in a few weeks, and got just about all the bark that I could. Some are quite small bits, and I've tried
That's okay.
gluing
Yeah.
some together and just to be able to make sort of different things. Some of the other pieces were quite large. Um,
Wow.
so yeah, no, I was very, very fortunate, and I've sort of Googled and trying to find. There's one tree apparently about 10 hours drive from where I live. So next time I have a job out that way, I'll be sort of popping out there to see if there's any sort of bark left. But yeah, I'm just very fortunate I was able to come across this one tree and pretty much got most of its bark. And this tree was huge. It would have had a diameter of over a meter at the bottom. It was quite a big,
Wow.
big tree. The history, I did find out that apparently this got planted over 100 years ago
Hmm.
by a very rich family from the States who wanted to have a tree similar to what they had at home. And so they
Oh,
planted this
wow.
tree and then it, yeah, it was next to a little river and the tree did quite well. And I think they had
Wow.
3 trees there. So only one's dead. The other 2 are still alive. Um, so every now and then, if I'm ever in the area, I do go past and keep an eye on these trees. I'm like,
And I
the,
hope
the
did it
moment,
fall yet?
excuse me, the moment that I start seeing some dead branches and brown leaves, I'm going to be right underneath it with my arms open, ready to catch it. Because bark carving is, I really, really enjoy it. It's
I
really,
do
really
too.
nice. There's no other medium like it here. It's, especially when you
Yeah.
start leaving part of the bark on and you can get quite creative and you can look at a piece and then turn it upside down and look at it sideways and look at it a whole bunch of different
Yeah.
ways and all of a
That's where
sudden,
I'm at now.
yeah,
I got a piece here. I don't know what to do with it, and I keep flipping it around, and so I'm gonna sit on it until something actually jumps up at me.
yeah,
The inspiration.
yeah.
Yeah.
I really, really enjoy looking at and just be able to sort of create something that still leaves the bark on and not, obviously wood spirits and so on are great. But yeah, when you can sort of, I did a black cockatoo. It had I don't know what the exact terminology is where the bark splits. Um, anyways, but how it split, it looked like part of it was the body and I could see the other part being the wing. So when I carved it,
Oh, okay.
I left half of it still sort of showing, and then I carved the top part as the bird, then it really highlighted the bottom as being the wing and the body, and it looks, I really enjoyed that piece. It's a shame I sold it, but no, it was a good. It was nice piece, that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I've seen that one on your Instagram. I've
Yeah.
seen the Jesus and I've seen
Oh,
quite a
good.
bit. Yeah,
Yeah.
your stuff, yeah, I love the owl
Yeah,
that
I'm
you
really
did.
into owls at the moment.
Yeah, I like owls too.
Yeah, I'm really enjoy carving the owls.
Yeah.
I did one recently where I just you know, eyes are obviously quite tricky, and there's a lot of different ways of carving eyes. And I was looking at I've got a replica of a David statue, and I just noticed how Michelangelo had done the eyes on David. And then I think I did see a video of someone doing it. I think it might have been Alec Lacasse. He did a video
Mhm.
showing sort of how he does his eyes, and it was sort of a little bit in between the two. And so I did the eyes on an owl, how it was sort of like a half Alec, half Michelangelo, and a little bit of my own little sort of touch to it. Yeah, and it come up really good. And I thought, oh, I'm gonna start doing that from now on. I'm gonna start, mixing up the things a little bit. It's
Yeah, experiment a little bit
yeah.
and figure it out. That's really cool. Yeah, Alec is super talented, such a great guy. And his school, I don't know, do you belong to his school?
Yes. Yep, yep.
Yeah, so do I, and tremendous resource.
It is. I noticed some of the work
Yeah.
you've done recently, and I like the
Yeah.
the wolf and the Frankenstein and so on. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, the Frankenstein, that was I've eyeballed that Frankenstein for a while.
Yeah.
And I've seen there's a woman carver on Instagram, Dr. Doolittle
Okay, yeah. I
is
think I
her.
have.
Yeah. And she did one, and like her work is great, and she's heavily inspired by Alec as well.
Yeah.
And so I think I saw her version of the Frankenstein, and I was like, "Oh, I got to do that one too."
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, and
It's nice.
yeah, we
No, I was just gonna say,
go
it's
ahead.
really nice watching some of the videos, and you kinda, if you can you're never gonna be able to do it the same. So if you try and sort of make it your own a little bit, even if it's just changing ever so slightly, but still use those same concepts that he tries to teach.
Yeah,
Yeah, you come up with some really nice work. I really enjoy a
and
lot of the videos.
that's what I kind of do. So like when I'm trying something new that I've never done before, I'll copy what they did initially.
Yeah,
I'll try to replicate exactly what they did because I'm trying to get the shapes down and the fundamentals of it down. And then once I have that replica, obviously it's not going to look exactly the same, but it'll be relatively close. Once I get that down first, when I go to recreate it, I'll start putting my own spin on things. I'll
yeah,
change things around, and the more I do it, the more me it becomes, I
yeah.
guess. So yeah, it's always great to use these references and resources to as a jumping off point,
It is. Yeah,
and then find your own, because your own hand is going to come into play,
of
how
course.
it behaves and how it carves. You'll just find that natural um, touch to it, I guess.
Yeah. And I found probably the first couple of months when I was doing carvings, I was watching videos online, as most people that learn, and I found that I was more learning the techniques versus actually doing. And the end result was a carving. Don't get me wrong, but even when you look at, for example, some of the Doug Linker videos, where
Mhm.
you can follow that step by step, and your end result is very similar to what he's already made. But then when you try and say you look at a photo of a bird or whatever it might be, something different, an animal, and then you're trying to create that from that photo. So not necessarily from trying to create it from a tutorial video or whatever it might be. I found that when I did the crucifixion, up until then, a lot of the carvings that I did were very, like, I could show you a couple of these carvings and you're like, you'll know straight away. Like you can look at it, you're like, oh, yep, that's a Doug Linker, like I'm looking
Yeah.
at, that's a Doug Linker owl, or that's an Alec
Of
Lacasse
course.
little sailor
Yeah.
face. Like you straight away, you can tell exactly what it is. When there was no videos of someone teaching you how to do a crucifixion, you kind of just had to look at
Yeah.
photos and examples and kind of mix things up and create your own. Um, so I found, and I think that's probably a little bit of advice for carvers that have been carving for a while, especially off videos and tutorials. If you want to take it to the next level, carve something that hasn't been carved before, and carve from nature. Carve whether it's a bird or a dog, a cat, whatever it might be. And the first one's probably not going to turn out very good. Like I guarantee. Like I did my very first koala. You look at it and it looks like a bear. It doesn't even look like a koala.
I've seen your koala. Yeah.
And then the next one I did, I was like, "Oh, okay, that's starting to look a little bit more like a koala." And then by the time I did the third and the fourth, they really do look like koalas. Like it's starting to really take, because you're looking at the animal and you're seeing how the weird nose that they have and the indentations, and you're trying to replicate, w- yeah, like a what nature or an animal or something from a photo or from a. I find what's actually really helpful is I did so when I had to do this commission of a lady's horse just recently, I had some photos and I was really struggling with the photos, looking at them and trying to, because I went, met the horse, took some photos. It was, and the photos were okay. But what took it to the next level was because she didn't live very far from me, I was able to go back and I did a video, and I did the video of the horse sort of from one end, and then I was able to sort of turn and look at it from another. And then it started drinking. It was like, oh, this is awesome. Got it from the top. And then it, she tried to feed it. So it put its head up, and I was able to get it from the bottom. And looking at the video, and I sort of be able to freeze frame different. And it took it to an absolute another level. So getting a video, like a 360 video of what you're trying to carve is a great resource to be able to try and get it as close to your subject as possible. So something I found that really helps me is sort of
Yeah.
having a video and then pausing it at different stops, and then you can sort of do a screenshot, and then you kind of create a 3D character turnaround of your subject, and yeah,
Yeah.
it makes it a lot easier.
Interesting. Yeah. Like I showed you earlier, I was working on that bear,
Yes.
and I've been following some other bear carvers, and I'm looking at their carving to try to carve
Yeah.
the bear. But I think I really need to pull up some actual images of an actual bear
Mm.
instead of I'm trying to replicate a carving instead of replicating
Yeah.
the animal. And I think maybe that's where I'm kind of struggling because obviously I want to look at other carvings to see how they do it, but
Yeah.
I'm finding it difficult to look at someone's carving of a bear
Yeah.
and knowing just how to place things. So I think I need to take a step back and just like actually look up images of the animal itself and different poses and postures and everything. Cause I'm getting stuck at certain weird spot like under his neck where the arms kind of meet. Like what
Yeah.
do I do with that? And where does this go? And where does that curve?
Yeah.
So I think I need to really see it. Um, but yeah, I think using those live reference videos and photos are helpful. You see how the muscles group together and
Mm.
how things kind of flow and how the joints bend.
Yes.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's actually another really good, or something that really helped me. I got a book on anatomy. This is again when I was sort of doing the crucifixion, and I started with learning. So I kind of started with the skeleton, because without the
Hmm.
skeleton, and then from there I sort of looked at more muscles, and then from the muscles, then I looked at sort of how the skin folds and so on. I found that because sometimes if you look at a carving, I saw one recently. It was at a competition, and someone had carved a lady, and I think they had their arm up. And when you look at it, uh, I could see that it's from the elbow to the wrist was sort of like curved, and it just didn't
Mhm.
look right at all. It didn't look it just didn't look right because your bone isn't that shape, and there's no way an arm is you're gonna have a curve unless you've had an accident or. But you're not gonna have a like it's normally it starts a lot thicker at one end and it's a bit thinner than at the wrist, and it's kind of fairly straight. But if you have that kind of curves, your eye picks up these details. That's why I find carving faces a lot harder than say carving an animal because you're looking at faces all the time. And even though like no two faces are going to be the same, like my left part of my
Mhm.
face is different than my right. And that's with everybody's
Yeah.
like that. But if you put, eyes a little too wide or too close, or if they're at a little bit of an angle, one's a little bit bigger than the other, and you start doing that in a carving, it it takes away from the carving, I feel, from the sculpture that you're trying to create. But if you try and look at the bone structure first, and then from there you look at your muscles, and then from the muscles you start looking at your skin, and then you start taking things into consideration like age or angles, or obviously the older someone is, the different shape it's going to be. Someone said to me recently that I was showing them a picture of AI that had created a carving, and I was sort of
Mhm.
picking a few things that was wrong with it, and they're like, "Oh, you don't see anything nice in it," and I'm like, "No, I do see it nice, but I don't know whether it's I find a lot of carvers are probably similar, where all you're doing, especially with your own work, like all I see is the things that are off that little tiny bit, and I get stuck, and I find that it takes away from the carving. Because a lot of people look at the whole carving as a whole and think, "Wow, that looks amazing," and then I look at it and I'm like, "Oh, I stuffed up those feathers. Those feathers
Yeah.
don't,
Well, you're
don't
your own worst enemy.
you
You're
end up
gonna see the
being."
flaw.
Yeah,
Yeah.
um,
You're gonna see the tiny flaw that no one else sees. But
yeah,
that's also because you're coming at it from an artisan mindset or a craftsman. You're trying to produce your best quality work every time you do something. So when something does get messed up, it just ticks away at you and bothers
mhm,
you, and you're gonna see it. Uh, but again, it's because you're trying to be a better version of yourself.
correct.
Um, yeah, so it's a very fine line, and I've had to come to terms with that a long time ago because, like I said, I used to do this professionally as a woodworker, frame maker, and stuff, and we would always spot our flaws, and we would just at some point you're in a production shop, like you can't harp on those little
Yeah.
insignificant details that nobody's gonna notice. Like it's in the back of the frame, on the
Yeah.
side, and you
Yeah.
know, nobody's combing it with a fine tooth comb like you are.
No,
Um,
that's right.
but I guess it's because you're doing it every day, day in, day out. Like you expect better of yourself.
I just think you owe it to the people that invest their time. I guess if
Their
you're doing
time
it
and their
as
money, yeah.
if you're doing it as a hobby and you're just giving carvings away, and I guess maybe that's a little different. You sort of, but if you like, my goal is to one day do carving full time. Like I love to be able to create sculptures and highly detailed, have my own style, and hopefully I think I'm slowly starting to find my own style. If you want to be, I'm not going to say the best, but if you want to be up in that top percentage of, whether it's hyper realistic carving or whatever style you decide to do, eh, you need to be able to. Yeah, I think you have to be tough on yourself. You have to look at
Hmm.
something, and if it's not right, you need to improve, and you need to keep going at it until it gets better and better and better. And um, I think I said it like, yeah, similar to what I said earlier. The second that someone purchased something and invested their hard-earned money into something that I've created, I owe it not only to you, but then everyone else that comes after that. to do better and better. And yeah, it's I know. And then the funny thing is, it actually doesn't take away the enjoyment because you'd think, oh, you get so caught up in trying to, perfect something that I actually enjoy the process of something being hard,
Yeah.
which is probably a weird thing. And I'm sure I'll get to a stage in my life where I'll be like, you know what, I'm sick and tired of this. I don't want it to be, but
You just want an easy carving.
that's right. But yeah, I find, especially when someone like I get a commission, someone says, "Hey, can you?" Like I had one that was a bit challenging. Was I had someone wanted a Highland cow, but they wanted
I saw
the
that one. He was cool.
yeah, so they wanted and I guess if I were to do it again, I'd probably do better. And I guess you always do sort of try. Well, I'm always going to try and do better. But yeah, they wanted into the position of the thinker. So and I'm like, "Oof, that's challenging. I've never really done a life size, not that it was life size, but I've never done a whole body of a Highland cow, especially not in that position. So trying to
Yeah,
so
very
going
unnatural position.
going back to what we were saying earlier, then I've got to think about the bones, and I'm looking at a cow, and I'm sort of looking at the anatomy of the cow, and I'm like, it's just not going to sit like that. It's just, it's
Yeah.
not going to want to bend in this particular way. But yeah, it ends up, it becomes a challenge, and it's nice. I really enjoy challenges like that. It's
Yeah.
they're nice to I find them, yeah, I find it makes it interesting, makes the time go a lot quicker. That's for sure for me. So
Definitely. Yeah, I love when you're hyper invested into a project and just focused and everything is blocked out and you got to get it done and you can't wait to get back to it and you're just really into it. I love that aspect of it.
that flow
Um
state that you get,
that yeah. So like I was like that when I was working on the wolf that you mentioned and
yes,
the
I
Frankenstein and
really, I
some.
think that came up awesome.
Oh,
I,
thank you. I appreciate that. I
it
don't
came
like
up
the
really,
painting
really good.
on it, but you know, thank you. I mean, his also Alex's instructions are
Yes,
pretty top tier.
I,
I mean,
I agree.
he
I have
explains
learned a
things
lot
very well.
from, yeah,
Yeah.
being all the way here in Australia. We don't have too many people to teach her. Um, so the fact that I could sort of join a community where other similar people are trying to learn and better themselves.
Yeah.
And he's great too. Especially when I was doing the Jesus, especially when I came to the face, I reached out to him and I'm like, hey, I've got this job, this project that I'm currently doing. Are you able to give me some assistance? He's like, yeah, you're doing great. And I was like, okay, it looks really, really good. And wow, you've only been cut. And I'm like, oh, cool. But can you tell me how I can
Yeah.
improve? Yeah,
Help
you're
me.
doing awesome, man. It's great. And I just felt like, Alec, stop. Don't say a positive thing. I
tell
want only the
tell me
negative.
how it sucks.
I want to make this absolutely perfect. So yeah, it was great. He was such a good encouragement, and but yeah, he just sort of he would remind me of obviously the good things that we're doing, and that is important. It's important, especially when you hit
Yeah.
lows, that someone is able to give you a bit of a like a no, it is coming up good, and you've only been doing it for a short time. Keep going, it's looking great. Versus, yeah, I didn't want him to tell me anything positive. I just wanted him to sort of
Yeah,
come
you
and
just
say
wanted
like,
the
that nose is too long, those eyes are too wide, whatever it might be. But no, it
yeah.
was good. It was
Well,
good.
sometimes that's the downside too of the community. I mean, it is a very positive community overall for the
Yes.
most part. But sometimes you just need someone to say, "Nah, man, it
Yeah.
sucks. Like try this." Um, 'cause yeah, sometimes you need that critique.
You
Maybe not
totally
as
do.
harshly as it sucks, but
Yeah.
like a little bit of critique helps people improve. And
I
when you're
got
constantly being fed like it's amazing, it's amazing, it's amazing,
you need that
you f-
balance. Yeah,
yeah.
I agree. One of my friends from school, who's one of my best mates that known for 20 odd year longer. He he's really good because I'll sort of, I'll send him a photo or something, and he'll be like, and whilst everyone else is like, "Wow, that's awesome! That looks amazing." He's like, they could improve a little
Yeah.
bit. It's good. I think it's good to have a balance. You definitely need some good support, um, but at the same time, you need people to sort of bring you back into reality. It's almost like when you see what's that singing show, like American Idol, and you get the people that have
Yeah.
been sort of
Yeah, they just rip you to shreds.
yeah, but some of them are absolutely terrible, but they think that they're really, really good. They're out of tune,
Yeah,
and it's not. I'm not being mean, but it's just yeah. I think
it's true.
sometimes it's good to be told if something's not coming
It's
up
good,
good.
yeah. Well, it's funny because bringing it back to Alec, I had a conversation with him and he said something kind of interesting where he said some of the best critiques will come from the people who hate you
Yes.
because he's like they're not holding anything back. They have
Mhm.
no reason to sugarcoat anything. They don't like he's like don't get me wrong, like a lot of it would probably be mean and, you know, not nice to hear, but he was like they're gonna tell you the raw truth because they have no care about your feelings.
Yeah.
So he's like sometimes he's like you'll hear something pretty hurt, pretty terrible, but there's a nugget of truth in it that
Yeah.
he's like your friends and people who care about you don't have the nerve to say. And he was like, and if he's like, you can find those little gems, he's like, that'll help improve you.
It's so true.
And I thought it was a very unique perspective to have.
Yeah.
Um, and obviously it's because he has a big following. I'm sure he's dealt with a lot of that
Yeah.
more often than most people, but
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think, and
yeah.
you're right. It is important. I think if you need a bit of a pickup, like for me, I'll send something to my mum, and my mum will be like, "Darling, that's awesome. That's amazing. Great work."
Yeah. Yeah,
If
your mom's never gonna.
no, I'm like, "Oh, it's good. You can. I just needed to hear those words, just to sort of keep
Yeah.
going. But then you get other people that you send it to, you're like, tell me the truth. Like, what do you think? And it's great. Like, for example, one of my best mates who's a dear, dear friend of mine, and I really appreciate the fact that he just tells me how it is. He's like, man,
Yeah. That's all you need sometimes.
looks like you rushed
Like
that a
my
bit.
mom my
Yeah.
mom came down here and I was working on this Virgin Mary that Alec
Oh
did.
yeah.
And my mom was like, she loved it. She thought it was great. And I was like, she looks dead. Like she looks like she died.
Well, she has,
And
hasn't she?
yeah, but
What stage are you trying to
I
keep
I
her?
I definitely did not capture the beauty
Yeah.
or the grace that you would. And but yeah, she's like, that's amazing. I love it. Can I have it? And I was like, it's terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's your mom for you.
That's right. No, it's really good.
Yeah.
It's good to have that. Very grateful for it.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely very grateful. But yeah, anyway, I think we should probably wrap this up a
Yeah.
little bit.
We've probably gone over
Um
time, I think. So
yeah, it's a little bit over an hour. Um but yeah, I mean it was really great talking to you and learning more about your style and everything you do. If people want to find your work or buy something, where can they all find you?
yeah, I created a website recently. So it's prsculptures.com.au. I guess it's Australian based. Or just Facebook or Instagram. Again, either Pedro Rodriguez or PR Sculptures. I went real original with the name, just my initials and sculptures. So PR Sculptures.
Simple. I like it.
Simple. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I guess you can, yeah, find and follow me there. It's, watch my journey as I sort of leave hopefully we're in Australia, we call it, like fly in, fly out, the work when you work at one of the mines. So because most of the mines you got to fly to them. So you're flying into them, you do your 10 days, and then you fly back home, and then you're home for, 4 or 5 days, and then you sort of, so fly in, fly out, FIFO.
Interesting.
Um, so yeah, so the goal is to finish up hopefully sooner than later, while I still got health and,
Yeah.
not full of grey hairs just yet, and be able
Oh
to,
man, I'm there.
yeah. That's why I got the
I'm
lighting like
there.
this, because it covers a lot of it. So it's, but yeah, the goal would be to become a full-time sculptor, and, yeah, we'll see what and if things hopefully keep going well, I'd love to come over to the States and submerge myself in the community there, because it's, I think when you start rubbing shoulders and elbows with similar minded people that are into similar things, it not only does it push you to grow, but then it also, um, yeah, encourages you to keep going. I think it's an yeah, especially when it's platforms like this, and I was saying this to sort of Blake, where you get to sort of have a chat with someone on the other side of the world about things that you both are quite passionate about, is amazing. Like, I find
Yeah.
platforms like yours and others that are similar are very important, I think, to especially for someone that's not in the vicinity of carvers. If you're the
Yeah.
other side of the world, it's nice to, yeah, to have a chat with someone time to time on a passionate thing that you have a care about. So it's nice.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for having me.
No,
It's
I
an
really
absolute pleasure.
appreciate you taking the time to do this. I mean, everyone who takes their time out to come on the show, I'm extremely grateful for. Everyone has been so great and fun to talk to, and I just love hearing everyone's story. So
It's
I definitely very appreciative of it.
yeah. I think, as I said to you, I almost replied to you, "Are you sure you want me to come on?" Like, I'm sure you probably have some
Yeah.
more, but yeah, I was sort of blown away, and very, very grateful. So no, thank you very much, Michael, and I hope, yeah, hope someone sort of picks up a tiny little bit of advice, or a little tiny bit of inspiration, or even just, yeah, even just the fact,
Well,
yeah, it helps.
for what it's worth, you definitely inspired me. So there's one person you inspired, um,
Awesome.
at the very
I'm looking
least.
forward to seeing your bear though, complete. That's gonna be good to see.
Yeah, in the next few days, I should have it done because I feel like I'm past that. I'm in that ugly stage as we were
Yes.
talking about,
Yeah.
and I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, I either need to start adding the details or put it off to the side again,
Yeah.
which I don't want to do because I started that thing like 2 or 3 years ago and I never
Yeah.
finished it. Um, and
You know,
yeah, so I'm focused.
you also need, I've got an owl that I did about a year and a bit ago. It was my first owl that I
Hmm.
ever did. And I look at it, it's actually, this is the third time that I've worked on it. So I did it the first time and I finished it, and it was, oh yeah, it was awesome. It looked good. And then maybe 6 months later, I felt like I improved quite a bit, and I grabbed the owl from, because I've got it sort of in a tree. I brought it back into the workshop. I started again almost. I changed the details on it. The belly was really big. It just didn't look right. And I've just sort of, and it's been back out there for another probably 6 months. I just brought it back in this week because I kept looking at it and thinking, you don't represent what I can do at the moment.
Yeah,
So it's actually good to have some carvings that you can keep going back to, or others that you sort
absolutely.
of
Yeah.
keep from the beginning, and then you look at the end, and as your journey continues, and you just keep improving and making it even better and better. Hopefully, one day the carving will just be able to, yeah, to look so real, people will stop past. I, I,
Yeah.
I don't think I mentioned to you, but I got contacted by a company called BC Mask. I think they're actually Base Camp Mask. I think they're an American company, And obviously, they must have seen some of the videos that I do, which I never have any protection. And they sort of reached out and said, "Hey, if you we'll send you a free mask, and if you like it, you want to do a sort of like a quick video, that'll be awesome." So yeah, that was a very fun experience because normally I'd sort of set up a camera on a carving and it's just watching the carving. Whilst this one I had to really think about, edit it, film myself a little
Hmm.
bit in it. And anyways, it just think got released just recently. I think maybe it might have been yesterday. So if you have a chance, have a look at it and yeah, have a bit of a
Yeah,
laugh
I'll definitely.
on me because it's I look at it and I yeah. Anyways,
No, really cool. I'll definitely check that
it's
out.
very different to what I've normally done in the past. I thought it was quite funny. But yeah,
Yeah,
anyways, it's interesting where this
very cool.
journey takes you. Like I never would have thought a few months ago
Very
I'd be
interesting.
having a chat with yeah yourself. That's for sure, and or
Yeah.
doing a sponsor video for a mask,
Sponsor review. Yeah,
which is awesome.
it's
Don't get me wrong. The mask was really good and comfortable, and it's we all need to look after ourselves. We want to be here for a long
absolutely,
time,
yeah, be here for
not just a good
longevity.
time. But yeah. Anyways, it was you'll
Yeah.
have a bit of a laugh when you watch it. I think it's
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out right after we hop off of this and see. But yeah, no, it's
yes.
been a crazy ride where wood carving has taken me, and I'm sure many others. Actually,
Yeah.
I know for many others, it's been a very positive thing for everyone, and I'm just glad to be a part of it, and I'm glad I can contribute to it in some way, whether it's minimal or I'm just glad that I'm able to do something
Oh,
involving the community.
if you think about the amount of carvers that are out there, and then the amount of people that are giving carvers a platform like what you're providing, you're in the one percenters, that's for sure. And I think it's
Yeah, there's not a lot out there.
no, and you're not really. Most of the carvers, like the videos that I do, are kind of about me and my carvings. Versus, your videos are more about somebody else. I think there's it says a lot
Yeah.
about you, Michael. It's yeah, I
Oh,
really
thank
really
you.
enjoy watching your videos, and it's great that you give this platform to yeah to other carvers. So it's
Yeah, thank you. In
high
fact,
fives from
actually, it's
down
funny
under.
because
Sorry.
I was gonna say I think most people don't actually want to really hear me talk or see me talk about much of anything, because like, what do I have to really contribute? But so I really am more interested in everyone else's story. Um, eventually, I think people. I mean, people are maybe a little bit interested in what I have to say, but after several episodes, I'm repeating the same my story over and over again.
Yeah,
No
yeah,
one's gonna care. So, but yeah, no, it's been great getting to showcase everyone and help each other out. And that's all that matters is
yeah. No, it's good.
community.
Good
Yeah.
that you're providing this platform, Michael. It's
Well, thank you.
unreal.
Appreciate that.
I find it's awesome, and I watch. uh, if I'm not carving, I'm especially like at night, I'd either watch a podcast or watch someone else carve. It's yeah, it's funny because you start looking at the people that start following you, and I'd say probably 70% of the people are carvers themselves. Uh,
Yeah.
like it just yeah,
Yeah.
it's good because we all. I look at the people
It's
that I
everyone
follow.
supporting one another.
That's right. I pretty much follow most
Yeah.
of all the videos that I watch. My algorithm is just carving videos. So
Yeah.
that's all it is really, sculptures and carving. So it's
Yeah.
yeah. Anyways, good good
Anyway.
good to have. Good community to be in, that's for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, definitely. Well, this was a really great conversation. And again, thank you so much for taking part of it and joining me with the dramatic times difference that
Yeah,
we're
it's
dealing
what
with.
is it? It's
But
almost midnight here, which is
yeah, it's 10 o'clock now.
it's about the
But
time I start carving.
um,
No. That's why my neighbors hate me.
yeah,
Starting a
the
chainsaw at midnight.
the wallabies hate you.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, they're not big
yeah,
fans.
no, But yeah, just thank you again so much. And for all of you out there, please make sure to follow Pedro's work. You won't be disappointed. And be sure to like and follow the show and share it around, help it grow. And yeah, we'll see you in the next episode.